What's the scariest thing that's ever woken you up during the middle of the night? My wife. Standing over me with a knife. Whispering to herself that she needed to kill me. That was a rough year. A cold lifeless hand falling flat on my face. Took me a second or two to realize it my own hand that I had been laying on. It was cold and numb from the elbow down. I awoke once to a strange, high-pitched trilling sound and bright lights beaming through my window. For a second I seriously thought I was about to be abducted by aliens. Then I realized it was a toad doing its mating call in the front yard and car parked on the street with the headlights on. One time I was having a dream about giant green water snakes. One bit me in the f***ing eye and I woke up screaming to find my cat pawing at my face because he had no food. A bear outside my tent. Woke up to what I thought was a giant lobster on my leg. Ended up being a stuffed animal. Hence the name. Well, it was about 8 months ago, about 2:40 am. I was sleeping in my bed when I heard a loud bang in my kitchen. Unaware of what it was, I got up and wasn't sure of anything. I get my gun from my safe and walk out. I then hear a huge rattle of pans and plates falling on the floor. I was really freaking out. My blood was pumping so hard and it was so bad I was starting to get a headache from it. I creep out of my hallway. It's pitch black. I look in the kitchen, poking my head in. I see two strong glowing eyes staring at me. So f***ing scary, man, it rustled my jimmies so hard. I booked it back in my room and popped open the window and hopped the FCK out cause I don't got time to deal with that bullshit. I was f***ing scared. I was on my phone about to dial 911 when I remembered that I bought a f***ing cat like a month ago and it ran away and came back that night. Needless to say, I saved a nice pair of undies from being slaughtered by my fatal bowel movement of terror. I knew I shouldn't have bought a f***ing cat. Someone calling my name. I was 100% sure that I heard someone calling for me. In a casual manner. As if this person was asking me to pass the salt or something. I was alone in the house. It was certainly a dream. But scared me anyway. Edit. Forgot the dumb part. I sat for roughly half an hour yelling, "Yeah? What is it? Don't f***ing wake me up if you have nothing to say." And stuff like that. Yes. I'm an idiot. Somebody trying to break in. I was living alone at the time in a little studio flat in the city center. It was about 3 am and I was woken up by some crashing sounds in the hallway. And then somebody started kicking hard at my bedroom door. Fortunately, my door at the time was a pretty hefty fire door with a good strong lock. So I had enough time to call the police before he did any damage to it. I was living pretty close to the police station, so they turned up fast. With dogs. And caught him still inside the building. As it turned out, the guy was absolutely wasted and looking for somewhere to sleep. And from the outside, my place still looked like the empty nightclub it used to be before it was converted into flats. So my guess is he thought it would be empty. Rather than actually attempting to attack anyone living there. I was still very shaken up by it at the time. Woke up from a dream about a man who climbs in windows and watches people sleep to see someone sitting on the chair next to the bed I was sleeping in. Then actually woke up. Edit. This happened at my grandparents' house when I was in high school or middle school, and since then I've had at least one other dream like this at their house. I was staying in a different room that is attached to the attic and someone came through the door in the middle of the night. I'm not sure if I placed emphasis on the creep factor of that room because of the attic and the rumors that the previous owner's mother-in-law lived and died in the attic. Or if that house is just f***ed up. Double edit. My grandmother had one of these dreams too, only it was death telling her to come. She apparently did not go. I woke up to a cockroach that had crawled into my ear. I shit you not. Excruciating pain. Tried to flush it out with water. No luck. I had to lie there for 6 hours before mum took me to hospital while it moved around. Scratched my eardrum and fluttered its wings. That sound is terrifying when it comes from in your ear. My ear was bruised from how hard I was pushing in an attempt to stop it moving. They first tried to blast it out with a high pressured little hose, which hurt like a BTCH and didn't work. So then they poured oil into my ear to drown it. Then sucked the fucker out with a little vacuum. My little brother was hiding in my closet to scare me when I went to bed. He was in there for a while and fell asleep on some stuffed animals. He woke up in the middle of the night and just sorta fell out of the closet. I woke up to him just getting up and going to his room. My life is tame. Falling down the stairs. I was 12 and I was sleepwalking. I woke up as I was falling from the first step and proceeded to tumble down 18 stairs. All I got was a bruise. The condensed snuffling breath from a lioness pressing her nose against my tent in Savo a few feet from my face. Pretty much pooped my pantsuit. Severe pain in my chest making it nearly impossible to breathe. I was ready to go to the emergency room in a panic. But then thumped my chest with my fist, stopping the pain, and went back to sleep. I woke up with a girl standing next to my bed, staring at me. At the same time I hear a horrifying screams. Not from the girl but from somewhere far away. It took around 10 seconds for my scared and sleepy brain to realize my daughter, toddler, had woken up to look for me and so had my baby son in his room. I once woke up to see a helicopter crashing through my ceiling. I dove from my bed face first into my bedroom door to get away. It was the ceiling fan. Woke up to my dad covered in blood shaking me like a lunatic. Apparently he had a dream that he was in an army and was killing people. He woke up, went to the bathroom, saw he was covered in blood from a nosebleed, and thought he sleepwalked, murdered his family. Woke up to my hamster screaming and I immediately started screaming for some reason. I then crawled over, still screaming. So we were both screaming at each other for a good 30 seconds. Was the scariest tea ever. He was fine. He's the biggest PSSY ever. I think he shit himself from climbing too high. I was 10 years old and out camping with my Girl Scout troop out by Catalina Island and we were sleeping in our sleeping bags outside. I fell asleep with my hand outside of the bag and I woke up some time later feeling something crawling around on the back of my hand. There was a full moon out and I looked over and saw a ginormous potato bug on my hand. I wanted to scream but I didn't want to wake everyone up, so I flung my hand away from myself to get rid of the bug and then spent the rest of the night with the zipper of my sleeping bag pulled shut and the opening at the top closed up. Worst night of my 10-year-old life. For those of you don't know what a potato bug is, it's this ugly thing. http www.whatsthatbug. WP content uploads /2009/02/potato bug rain. JPG. My family was staying at this haunted hotel in Savannah, GA. It was an old hospital during the Civil War or something like that. And my brother and I were sharing a bed. The first night, I woke up to him smashed up against the headboard. No noise and movement at all. When I asked him what he was doing, he said he was afraid to move because he wasn't entirely sure if he was dead or paralyzed. That he woke up to this enormous pressure and was pushed up against the headboard. Freaked me out and I refused to share a bed with him again out of fear of another ghost attack. The next night, I was sleeping with my sister and she rolled over on me. I kept trying to push her off when I noticed she wasn't anywhere near my side of the bed. Almost peed my pants. And then watched TV until his son came up because FCK ghosts. TLDR, ghosts are real. And scary. I was put on Celexa when I was a kid. The weirdest dream I had of that was seeing all these different kids experiencing the worst possible death. There was one kid who a statue holding a hatchet fell on him and the hatchet nailed his skull. Then another kid rolled out of bed and through a trap door, and as the door closed, it poured this liquid which was lighter fluid and the casket erupted in flames and the kid is screaming. Then another kid was flying on this weird glider and fell out. As he is falling, a jet flies by and he get caught in the engine and the engine spews out the blood. I had different versions of this kind of dream to where I could not sleep for 5 days. I would go to school looking like the undead. It scared the hell out of me. I woke up and saw a spider the size of my hand descending from the ceiling toward my sleeping baby's head. I am horribly afraid of spiders and would have just ran if it was coming for me. Instead I went full mama bear and punched the fucker. Then I realized I was dreaming with my eyes open. I've done this countless times. I couldn't go back to sleep after. It seemed so real. Edit. When I punched the spider, it was 2 or 3 feet above my sleeping treasure. He slept through the whole thing. Even after when I was frantically searching the bed for the gigantic injured demon spider. Was on vacation with my family and I was about 7-8 years old. Woke up one night because of these weird gagging noises. My brother was in the bed beside the mattress which I slept on. So I told him to cut the shit and go to sleep. He didn't stop. So I turned on the light and saw he was choking to death on his own vomit. Scared shitless, I ran and woke up my parents. We rushed out of the door and got in the car, as he was lifeless. Luckily, we saw a cop car and yelled at them while speeding on the highway. And we tailed them to the ER after they understood it was serious shit. My brother lived and we found out that he had had an epileptic seizure for the first time ever, which combined with overeating had caused him to almost choke to death. He lived. But holy shit. I still think about if I had not woken up and we had not spotted that cop car. We were in a small town in Spain, so we didn't know where the ER was. So many coincidences. Damn. My puppy has a habit of going under the blankets in my bed and sleeping by my feet. One time I didn't realize he had done this and in the middle of the night I see this lump crawling up towards me. Half asleep me freaks out and then kicks the lump and then breaks down after hearing my puppy yelp. So scary because I thought the bed monster was going to eat me and because I thought I killed my puppy by kicking it. My bad. This is kind of relevant. But it's 4 AM right now. I'm about to go to sleep and I hear a jingling. Like keys, or something more sinister. I live in the city and there is a lot of foot traffic in front of my house, though usually not at 4 AM. I sit in my front room with the window open, and this is a slightly sketch part of town, and combined with the topic of this thread, I start to get a little nervous. I look out a crease of my window waiting to see who walks by when suddenly, I see a German Shepherd. She just walked into the backyard of my neighbor's house. It's currently unoccupied. This is the second time I've seen this dog wandering around without an owner. I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to go outside now and see if the dog is still around. Just a few weeks ago. Woke up to scratching noises. I'm talking intense. I mean nails scraping down a blackboard intense. Freak out. Lights on. Staring at the wall where the scratching noise is coming from. Go to the next room over to investigate if it's coming from the other side. Nope. Sit awake for 3 more hours sweating profusely and coming up with conspiracies. Investigate as the sun comes up. Turns out it was a possum that had somehow gotten into my walls because it's too cold outside. Freaking Australia. On Halloween. In the dead of night. I woke up to scratching sounds coming from the front door. My boyfriend and I had been binging on scary movies and I'm typically a pretty logical lady so I dismissed the noise as a spooky dream. But no. There it was again. So of course I decided to investigate. I crept over to the front window and peeked out of the blinds. It was 2 little kitties wrestling. And since this was obviously the best Halloween ever, I shook my boyfriend awake, feigning panic, and said there's something at the door. So he was able to be frightened by the little guys too. When I was younger, a woman, whom I did not know, knocked on the frame of my door and shouted I'm home, and went downstairs. I woke up my parents and my mother found her knocked out on our floor. She turned out to be our neighbor's daughter and she got back home from drinking and thought our house was hers. We woke her up and she left. But she went home barefoot and forgot her shoes. TLDR drunk neighbor breaks into our house thinking it's hers and we are left with her shoes. We feel too awkward to return them as it might be embarrassing for her or she might not remember. When I was younger my mum was in the attic above my room and due to the weak flooring she fell through the ceiling and onto the end of my bed. Somehow this didn't disturb me. What made it terrifying was that when I woke in the morning, there was a large hole in the ceiling above me and an old clown puppet staring down at me. It was horrible.
Mhm.